Uncle Leon came home that day with an armload full of junk he had collected on his rounds as a garbage man. I was 15 then. It was around 4 o'clock that afternoon in the summer of '71. I could hear his distinctive routine and the familiar sound of his engine as he pulled up into the driveway alongside the house, just under the shade of a huge cottonwood tree that stood firmly planted in the neighbor's backyard. His engine would always give a slight roar after coming to a stop and shifting the transmission into park, followed by the muffled jingle of keys as he pulled them from the ignition. He'd then step out onto the pavement, shutting the door behind him with a dull thud, and would casually make his way around to the backyard and up the back porch steps. The old wooden screen door screeched loudly, stretching the long pullback spring, drawing it tightly against the door's worn edge as it turned on its dry and rusted hinges. That old door must have given us 1,000 warnings in the midst of our mischief, with that long, creaking noise we could always rely on. Uncle Leon stepped into the den from the back porch, cradling a cluster of findings, and in a gruff voice grunted, Here's something y'all can play with," dusting off each item one by one with the sleeve of his flannel work shirt and placing them on the sofa next to me. One item in particular caught my attention. It was a little plastic toy guitar. Nothing special, just an old piece of a guitar is what it really amounted to. Not only that, but 2 of the strings were missing. But for some reason, it didn't matter to me. As soon as I picked it up, I knew it would be the start of something really special. I examined it closely, strumming with my right hand and running my left hand along the neck in a mock performance, as if I really knew how to play the thing. When no one was around, I would play with that little plastic toy guitar, completely fascinated by the sound as I plucked along on one string and then the other, trying to forge out a melody. Something simple perhaps, but nonetheless, I could recognize that each note had the potential to produce music that I heard in my mind. I had no idea of what I was doing, plucking along the thickest string, producing a resonating deep tone, thud, thump, thud, as my fingers curiously explored the unfamiliar contours up and down the neck. A few weeks later, my older brother David returned from Vietnam. I was really excited to see him again. I was young and very impressionable, and at the same time, without a father. We had lived apart for years after our mother died. I needed my big brother then. And there he was. To me, he was bigger than life. He brought back lots of pictures of friends he had met and places he had traveled. And among his personal treasures he had brought back with him was an electric guitar. My eyes lit up when I saw it. He bought me my first real guitar and nurtured my desire to play it every chance he got, taking me with him to friends' houses who played guitar and insisting that I played something for him, no matter how embarrassed I was. David knew what he was doing. In a way, he actually groomed me to become a true guitarist. It was his influence that became the positive force that drives me to this very day.